Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Anissa Fon, and if you haven't subscribed, kindly subscribe to help this channel grow. And if you're a member, you're welcome back. Thank you for coming back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you on how to draft this pattern step by step. So if you want to know how I do this, keep on watching. The first thing I will do is to draw a straight line, which is going to be my guideline. The next thing I will do is to minus 5.5 inch from my measurement, because this is a tube top. Okay, now the next thing I will do is to measure from my chest to my nipple point, which is 10.5, from my chest to my underbust, which is 14, and from my chest to the length of the top, which is 16. Then I added 2 inch more. I'm going to repeat the same thing here as well. After doing so, I'll go ahead to connect it with a straight line. After connecting it, next thing I will do now is to go ahead. I'll put here the chest line, here the bust point line, here and the under bust line, and here the length of the top. Next thing I will do now is to go ahead to divide my bust span measurement by 2. That's the nipple to nipple measurement. Mine is 7 inch. 7 divided by 2 give me 3.5. Then I'll go ahead to add ½ inch to it. I will mark it up here as well. Connect it with a straight line. What I will do next is to connect it with a straight line. After doing so, the 4 inch which I use, I'm going to add 1 extra inch to it. Altogether is 5 inch. I will mark it up. Then I will connect that mark all the way to my nipple point line. Now I will go ahead to create my dark of ½ inch here and ½ inch here as well. At this other side, I'll go in with the dark of 1.025 here. Then here at my nipple point line, I'm going to go down by 1.025. And here, if you're somebody that is bossy, you should go down by 1.5 or even 2 inch. But for size 34, I'm using 1.025. Connect it with a straight line like this. I'm going to do the same thing here. Then I'll do the same thing here as well. I will take now my French scarf. I'm going to connect this part here because I don't want it to be sharp. Here I will go down by 2 inch. That's to create the armhole. After marking that point, I'll go ahead to connect it with a straight line. Okay. Now I'll go ahead now to create my dark here. At this center side, I'll go in with a dark of 1 inch. And here I'll go in with a dark of 0.75. That's closely to 1 inch. Connect it from here to my nipple point line. I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to use my French scarf to connect it. After doing so, what I will do now is to blend it up because I don't want it to be sharp. Okay, I'll go ahead now to, that's how wide I wanted the neckline to be, was 10 inch. I will divide the 10 inch by 2, which is 5 inch. Then whatever I had for that dark, which was 1.075, I will add it back here like this. Then I will connect this part from here to here. Before I go ahead to do so, I want to go ahead and put 1/4 of my bust measurement, which mine is 34. 34 divided by 4 will give me 8.5. Then plus the dark allowance, I will replace it back. Then I will come here and my under bust line, I'll put 1/4 of my under bust measurement. Mine is 30. 30 divided by 4 will give me 7.5. Then I'm going to replace back the dark allowance as well. I will come here to my waistline. I'll put 1/4 of my waist measurement. Round my waist is 28. 28 divided by 4 will give me 7 inch. Then I'll mark it up. Then I'll go ahead to replace back the dark allowance. After doing so, I'm going to connect it like this. like so, and this downer part I'll go ahead to do it with a straight line. Okay, now after connecting this line with a straight line, what I will do here is to come here, I will go down by 2 inches. Here it depends on how deep you want it to be. Okay, for me I'm going down by 2 inches. Mark it up, then I'll take my curve ruler. I'm going to connect it like this. Then I'll come here this other side, I'll connect it like so as well. First of all, connect it all the way to here, like so. Then I will go ahead to blend this up like this, all the way like this. Actually, we are done with the front piece, so now I will just go ahead to continue this line for the back pattern as well. After doing so, I'll go ahead to separate it. That's to separate the back from the front pattern. I'll go ahead to put my nipple to nipple measurement, which is 4 inch, and I'm gonna do the same thing all the way here as well. After doing so, I'll connect it with a straight line. Next thing I will do now is to create a dark of 3/4 inch here and 3/4 inch here. Connect it all the way to this top part like this. I'm gonna do the same thing here. After doing so, what I will do now is to put 1/4 of my waist measurement. So around my waist is 28. 28 divided by 4 will give me 7. Then I'll replace back the dark allowance back here, and I'm gonna do the same thing to my under bust line as well. 1/4 of my under bust, which is 7.5, I'll replace back the dark allowance. Okay, I'm gonna do the same thing here as well, but here I'm not going to be adding any dark. Okay, I'm just going to put 1/4 of my bust measurement. Then I'll go ahead to connect it with a straight line like this. After doing so, what I will do now is, if you want the zipper, if you're going to be using a zipper to it, you're supposed to add your 1 inch of a zipper. But me, I'm not going to be using a zipper in this case. Okay, I want to use some loops to it, so I'll go ahead to minus 1.5 inch from my pattern, which means that the 1.5 inch, by the time I cut it all together, I will have 3 inch that I've taken away from my pattern. I'll come here, I'm going to go down by 1.5, and I'm gonna connect this all the way to here. Here you can use a straight line. If you don't want, you go ahead to use a curve, or if you don't want this design behind, just go ahead and leave your pattern just the way it was. Now I'm going to go ahead now, mark where I'm going to be cutting it, so you will not make any mistake when you are cutting your pattern. Okay, when I'm done cutting this, I'll just go ahead to number it, so by the time I'm joining everything together, I will know which one goes to the other. Okay, thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you on my next project. Bye bye.